you guys picked up. I've been watching you. I hacked into a Deltarune CCTV system. I'm in the store a few hundred meters from you, and I've got the ability to call for help. There's zombies outside. I'm not sure how many exactly, but you need to get here quick.
Hey, there's been a delay. You need to hold out for another 5 minutes. We'll be there as soon as possible. Hold on tight.
Hey! Oh, thank God you guys picked up.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got no.
I remember back when I was a little kid, browsing through Steam's free-to-play library and found a game called No More Room in Hell. Damn, that sounds awesome. I checked the screenshots and thought, this is a cool game, I gotta play it. And so I asked my friend to come play with me. Little did kid me know just what kind of pain lies ahead. Seriously, this is one of the most unforgiving games I've played, with no exaggerations. And I love hard games. I'm hard. Hold up, let's look at the screenshots again. Ooh. Not exactly a child-friendly game, and I'll admit, Santa Claus won't be giving me any presents for Christmas. I consider this to be my second favorite zombie game, right next to Left 4 Dead 2. Well, I would say this is my third favorite, but I don't consider Resident Evil 4 to be a real zombie game, if that makes sense.
Boredom kills me.
All the way back in 2016, they announced that they were working on a sequel. I remember every time me and my friend brought up No More Room in Hell, we always wondered, when's the sequel's coming? Ah, don't worry man, it's gotta be this year, and then next year comes, and then the next year, but nothing ever happened. They just put up an update blog saying that they were working on it. Safe to say, we were very excited for the sequel, and then 5 months ago, as of recording this, they've released the announcement trailer and early access date, which is why I'm making this video. I love their work. This video was supposed to be out on Halloween, coincided with the sequel, so that like, I'm all hyped for No More Room in Hell 2 and stuff, but it's almost Christmas. And ooh boy, I'll talk about the sequel in another video someday. What a tragedy that is. Let's back up here. What is NMRiH? Well, it's known as No More Room in Hell. I'm just gonna call it NMRiH because that's way too long. It's a zombie apocalypse type of game where you cooperate with your teammates or solo if you're clinically insane, where you either survive for as long as possible, like Call of Duty Zombies, or you complete a series of objectives that'll finish the map, much like the campaigns from Left 4 Dead, where you go from point A to point B. This game's mastermind is this guy, Coleman Sweeney. But in the wiki it says that Max Kazan is the creator instead, but then I looked at a Steam discussion page and Matt himself said that Coleman Sweeney was the original creator, so I'll believe what he says. I've looked through a couple pages and I think the team that made this is just called No More Room in Hell development team, but I could be wrong. Through their YouTube channel we can see every single state the game has been in. This goes all the way down to their very first alpha build pre 1.0 from 14 years ago. Looking at their first video, the game's a little rough, obviously. The zombies have the exact same animations from Half-Life. The stamina UI is from Half-Life. Well, the UI in general is just from Half-Life, and when your crosshair goes over an enemy, it shows their entity name. I can tell the game was in a playable state, it just needed a lot of polishing. And that's exactly what they did. They worked hard, a lot of updates came, and eventually, on the 30th October 2011, exactly on Halloween,
Student watches porn and gets naked.
Beta 1.0 was released on ModTB for free. But why ModTB? Well, because NMRiH was originally planned as a Half-Life 2 mod.
Mr. Freeman.
Unsurprisingly, it was received very well by the community overall, talked about in a bunch of articles, and even won Mod of the Year in a PC Gamer magazine, contesting with the likes of DayZ. Now, this game doesn't have much information behind it, but as far as I can tell, it has been in development since 2004, according to Wikipedia. Also, apparently the title is a reference to Dawn of the Dead. I don't know if that's true, I've never seen Dawn of the Dead, but I'll roll with it. And 2 years later, it launched as a standalone title on Steam on the 31st October of 2013. Using Steam Greenlights. You remember that old fossil? I'm starting to notice a theme here. And also it won second place on ModTB in 2013. As of recording this video, the version that I'm playing on is 1.13.6. Well, that's pretty much it for the backstory. You're not here for a history lesson, so let's talk about the game. No More Room in Hell is really not a complex game at all. You got yourself,
Say my name.
the brainless zombies, and sometimes the brainless teammates.
Oke, nice.
Loading into a game, the first thing you'll immediately notice is, where's my health? I'm tired? Where's my stamina? How much ammo do I have? There is no HUD at all. NMRiH has a very minimalistic style of UI. When your health is low, the screen will gradually turn black and white. When you're tired, your character will begin panting and your weapon lowers down, as if you don't even have energy to fight back. Checking how much ammo you have requires you to physically take out the guns magazine, leaving you defenseless for a few seconds. It's all really... I don't like using this word, but it immerses you into the game. And believe me, that's for the best, because this game oozes atmosphere.
The Matrix.
Even the smallest things like bullet shells are accurate. You shoot 4 times with a shotgun, the shells will be under your feet. They don't just disappear into thin air. Little details like those sprinkled across the game goes a long way. Before going into a game, you can pick who you want to play as from the main menu. There's a total of 8 survivors to choose from. Molotov, a firefighter. I assume that because of his clothes. Wally, he looks like that mob guy from The Sopranos. I forgot his name, I think it's Tony or something. The Hunter, that's his name is The Hunter. I would not trust this man if he was on my team. Jive, he reminds me of Father Gregory, I think is his name, from Faith. Badass, her shirt even says badass, with a space in between, so you don't want to let her near your toilet. Butcher, a butcher. Roger, I'd say the most fashionable one. And last but not least, Patrick Bateman.
Vista, baby.
If you're like me and you enjoy the pace of Left 4 Dead and then you try out NMRiH, it will feel really jarring at first. Also, sorry, I'm comparing it to Left 4 Dead a lot, it's just that they're both zombie games. But this game is just a lot slower. You won't be running and gunning zombies here unless you're really stocked up. Instead, you will take your time meticulously clearing out a room 1 zombie at a time. And most of the time with a melee, which is even slower. But oddly enough, as someone who enjoys the faster paced gameplay a lot more, I really like this. Of course, it feels good to do a crazy flick and one tap that hunter trying to pounce you. But the feeling of surviving against all odds with whatever scraps you were given, it's something else. Which brings me to your character's stamina. Respectfully, it feels like your character is dehydrated, has low blood pressure, and has hypoglycemia. You swing twice, shuff twice, run for 5 meters, out of breath. Jump, you die. I hate these sort of stamina systems. Weird comparison, but the Evil Within 1 had it too. You can run for like 5 seconds max in that game. But at least you can upgrade your stamina. Not in this game you don't. Unless you cheat with commands, the best you can get is that your stamina regenerates slightly faster if you stand still. Being a zombie game, of course you're going to have a weird health system. Each hit from any enemy has a chance of making you bleed, getting you infected, or both. And if you bleed, you have to use a bandage to stop the bleeding. Funnily enough though, if you get hit and bleed, that's actually good, because using a bandage heals you quite significantly, more than the damage the zombie dealt to you. And healing is very precious in this game. Getting hit even once feels devastating. But the worst is if you get infected. Like I said, getting hit has a chance of getting you infected, but the lower your health is, the higher the chance it is for you to get infected. Once you are infected, there's a 3-minute timer that slowly turns your vision darker and darker until you can't see anything. You have to find pills, or else you'll turn. Even using pills won't cure you, it just extends the timer by 3 minutes. To truly cure the infection, you have to use a syringe called gene therapy. After this, you become immune to all infections, even if you get reinfected. However, there will be a time where you're infected, don't have a gene therapy, and can't find any pills. Then, as a last resort, to prevent yourself from hurting your teammates, if you have a gun with ammo, you can press K and turn the gun on yourself. And doing this will obviously kill you, but at the very least you won't turn and get to keep your human appearance, as horrific as it might be.
You should love yourself now. Yes.
That was dark. Let's talk about the enemies.
Ini bisa ngedamage gak aku? Okay, never mind.
You'll always have the basic zombies. They're slow, tanky, not really that big of a threat on their own. But they have this dumbass grab move that can grab you across all of Asia. Also, they're called shamblers here, not zombies, so I'll call them shamblers from now. Runners. As the name implies, they run fast. They are the exact same as shamblers, but they have the speed of Usain Bolt, and also slightly lower health. Just one of these bastards in the wrong place at the right time, and my run is ruined. And so is my whole day. I simply turn a corner to check. I get hit by Lightning McQueen twice, and half my health disappears. Funnily enough though, I found that if a runner is chasing you, you can just walk the other way. As long as you walk forward with W, they'll never be able to hit you, because walking backwards slows you down. On special occasions, if you have a fire weapon or a shambler gets hit by a fire hazard, they will just start full sprinting towards you. But not all the time. Sometimes they just die. And sometimes they turn to burning shamblers. Even if they aren't runners, they will run. It creates this layer of uncertainty for me whenever I'm about to throw a Molotov at a choke point. I think to myself, does this room have enough space for me to run away? The weakest of the bunch, crawlers. They have the lowest health, slowest attack, and nothing to show for it. I guess they've caught me off guard a couple times, but after that, they're really just a stepping stone. Hell, you can even punch them twice and they die. These guys suck. Hey, Niki, sini, ada kamu.
Apa ini? Cacat Pak Suno si anjing.
Depending on the map you're in, US or British Guard Shamblers will spawn. These are soldiers who got infected and turned. They can either spawn normally or as runners. I think they're a little more tanky, but I can't really tell. Sometimes they die in 2 hits, sometimes 3, but these guys are actually worth killing. They have a chance to drop lower tier loot like ammo, bandages, or a pistol, but the pistols don't have ammo in them. Last but not least, children? Yeah, there's children zombies in this game, and you can beat the shit out of them too. They're about as fast as runners, but they die in 1 hit. Still, they are no pushovers. The developers intended the players to sort of be in shock when seeing zombie children for the first time. Like, is it morally okay to kill this child? You know, that sort of response. There was a lot of controversy with the zombie children, so many in fact that the developers had to respond. And I quote, "We will not be removing them. We are sorry that some people seem to be offended for one reason or another, but we are not going to censor our game and our vision. Our game is free and we developed it solely out of passion and fun to make the zombie game that we always wanted. If you do not like it, we are sorry and it's unfortunate, but this is a no-compromise situation. We appreciate any and all feedbacks on the game, as always. Music to my ears." Let's talk weapons.
Can I put my balls away?
By far, the most common weapons are, unsurprisingly, melee. There's all sorts of stuff you can find out there, from kitchen knife to a foobar. You have an invisible stamina bar, and every action that you do other than walking consumes stamina. The game doesn't tell you this, but I found out that if you miss your melee attack, whether it's charged or not, you won't consume stamina, which is really nice. Like I said before, there is no way to increase your stamina cap, so you'll always have the same amount. There are 2 types of melee weapons, a heavy 2-hand and a light 1-hand. 2-handed weapons are generally stronger, however, the upside of using a 1-handed weapon is that you can equip your flashlight on the other hand. And also, they don't take up much space in your inventory slot. Oh, totally forgot to mention this. Everything you pick up, whether it's ammo, bandages, medkit, weapons, just anything really, will take up a space in your inventory, and your inventory can only hold so many things. Pressing 1 on your keyboard will show all of the usable items, like your weapons, medkit, and you know, those sorts of stuff. And 2 shows all of the ammo you've picked up. Short tangent here, if you don't have a flashlight in your inventory, you'll have to resort to your lighter, which is a fate worse than death. Let me tell you, it is terrible. It doesn't light up much at all. My natural body heat lights up more things in this room than the in-game lighter. Oh, and this is the worst one. When your character runs or climbs a ladder, he just puts the lighter away. Like when you run, he closes it for some reason. I'll just turn it on again then. I hear you say, oh yeah, sure. The lighter can just not turn on. Great! Let's go through the melee weapons. I'll be listing these in my opinion from weakest to strongest. The first and weakest weapon you'll always have are your fit. Originally I was gonna rank all of the weapons, but I cut it out because it's just really boring. So instead of deleting it, here's the full tier list and here's my script. Do you want to read it? Go ahead. In short, machete good, monkey see machete, monkey go. Ooh, I take.
Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
I'm only gonna talk about some of the guns, the more notable ones. Melee weapons are good and all, but you won't be killing zombies purely with an axe. You're going to need something more handy. May I introduce you the Beretta M9, the commoner's handgun. Soldiers drop them, can be found in a lot of places, and it'll most likely spawn in the starting area. Unlike other types of weapons, handguns have a unique mechanic where if you take aim and don't move for a few seconds, you'll enter what's known as focus mode. In focus mode, you will one-shot any shamblers if it's a headshot. I don't understand how being focused could enhance the bullet, but I digress. The Glock 70, used for law enforcement and designed for professionals, holding an impressively large 18 capacity magazine, very suitable for those who has a more happy trigger finger. Be careful, however, before you realize it, you're empty. quite an upgrade from the M9L aspects, however, slightly rarer. Perhaps with all of these samey handguns, you'd like something fresh, something with a more explosive feel than,
May I suggest?
a Smith & Wesson 686. Don't let the ammo counter fool you while only having 6 bullets and a particularly slow reload. Guns aren't just about shooting, it's about reloading. In the right hands, you could turn those 6 bullets into 18 dead shamblers with its triple penetrating punch. I'll be honest, I never really liked the Ruger Mark III. It's just worse than the Glock or M9. It even uses a rarer ammo type. Maybe I can see myself using it if I picked up some .22 LR and I found the Ruger. Sure, but I would never drop a weapon for this. It's just not worth it. It's bad. Moving on from the worst to the best. Meet the Colt M1911. Focus mode? Never heard of it. Gone are the days where you have to wait 3 seconds to one-shot a shambler. Now, you can one-shot shamblers in the head regardless. I love this gun. It gives me that feeling like I'm John Wick. Every shot, bang, bang. Moving on to the next target, popping off those headshots, so satisfying.
Perfect. Time for the teacher.
Do you need to see a therapist?
Nah.
I'm Guy. Thank you forever.
Nighty-night. Nice.
But the ammo is quite rare. Those are all of the handguns, but there is one more special one, the flare gun. The flare gun is a single shot flare gun. Basically, you aim it, shoot, reload. It's pretty much a one-shot no matter where you hit them. This gun also has a unique property where it sets anything you hit on fire. You know, being a flare gun and all, it gets pretty hot. This includes you and your teammate. If you shoot a little too close, boom, half your health or teammates gone. And I mean half. It does 50 damage to humans. It hurts.
This is not math.
He's stupid.
Also remember, if you set a shambler on fire, they can turn into runners, so use it with caution. The AoE is also quite misleading. I thought it would be really big, but it's not. I also like the typo here in the wiki. I just thought it's funny. Headshot damage, very high, almost like the normal damage. There's so many more weapons in this game. You got snipers, shotguns, automatics, special weapons like this bow that I think is underrated. You can even grab the arrows back when they die. And my favorite, the Winchester shotgun that is semi-automatic.
Here comes the sun.
You'll also notice that I put some of the ammo type next to the guns. That's important because some of the weapons share the same ammo type. It's one more layer of gameplay that I like. You're always thinking, I forgot to mention this, you can also just take out the ammo from the gun itself. You see a gun on the floor that uses the same ammo type as yours? Just grab it out of there, just yoink.
It's a .22 LR.
All I've said is good things so far, but now I want to talk about the not so good things. And I have some things to say. First of all, you cannot make your own server. Wanna hop in a game with a friend? Here's a detailed 10-page essay on how to create your own server. The only way to play with your friends without going through all of that hassle is to join a public community server. There's plenty of them out there, but of course, since you're not the admin, you can't make your own rules, like changing the difficulty or allowing who can and can't join. There is no kick feature. You cannot kick players out. So if they're intentionally grieving, well, too bad, Buster, join another server.
Green, what's your problem, Green?
I remember back when I was a little kid trying out No More Room in Hell for the first time. I tinkered around and created my own server with Hamachi, which took like 30 minutes, and that worked. But now I tried the same exact thing again, but it doesn't work. So what the hell? What am I supposed to do then? What a big shame. All I can say is hopefully in the sequel you can create your own servers. For most of the official objective maps, they're really good. It feels like you're just barely making it through, at least on my playthrough. Nice.
Nah, tuh. What the fuck?
There's also sometimes puzzle solving in NMRiH, but these are usually just keypad codes that you can find by looking at details in the map, or you could just look at the wiki. But most of the time, you're just moving from point A to point B. Usually that's a bad thing, because you're just going through the motions, but the survival and resource management is so good that the gameplay never becomes a slog, although sometimes it does get confusing on where I'm supposed to go. You have this compass, if you press C, that tells you the current objectives and vaguely points you to where you need to go, but it's not always reliable. And other times, the objectives are like, take this welder that you left 20 minutes ago to unlock this door. Well shit, now I gotta backtrack half the map while avoiding shamblers to get that welder and then come back to the locked door and I can finally get it open. Lovely.
Harusnya di sini tuh bisa lompat. Markernya sih di sana, tapi gimana caranya ke sana? Atau mungkin, what the fuck? Dari tadi.
I had to lie to my friend to beat this map. We looked through everywhere to find the code, but we couldn't. And after like the 6th retry, I decided, screw it, I'm just gonna look up the code.
Kamu nemu di mana waktu itu kodenya?
Nggak inget udah lama. Kalau nggak salah di sini sih. There's a total of 21 objective maps in the game, ranging from China all the way to New York, with the newest one, Shoreline, being added just a few weeks ago. All of the maps have randomly generated drops. You might get a good weapon to start, or you might not even get the thing that you want the whole map. But even better than that, all of the maps have sort of a B and C route. Here, for example, in the map Suzo, at the start of the level, you could either go through the main gate and out the streets, or that gate would be closed shut and you have to take a detour through an underground sewer, passing by a gun store along the way, and then you're out in the streets. That's just one example. There's so many of these across all of the map that every playthrough feels different enough for it to not be samey or boring. I love it! Some maps even have secrets or a hidden path that you could take. These often lead to supplies, or making your life easier by just straight up skipping entire objectives. There's also hidden boxes that you can take to a designated spot to heal anyone that interacts with it, but it's really rare and don't even spawn in some maps. Okay. Mau shotgun, bang?
Bang, suara lu ganteng, serius.
Whoa. There's 3 difficulty modes that you can choose from: Casual, Classic, and Nightmare. Casual is basically easy mode, giving you a respawn token when you kill enough shamblers. Die, you'll use one of these tokens and respawn soon after. You also start with a melee weapon, not that it matters cause it's usually bad, and if someone joins your game, they will instantly spawn. Classic is the good old normal mode. It's hard. The respawn tokens don't exist here, but you can still respawn as long as someone is still alive and they complete the next objective. You'll respawn somewhere. It's almost the same mechanic as in Left 4 Dead, except you don't need to open the door for them. I don't have a lot of experience with Nightmare mode. I finished one map alone on Nightmare mode and I don't really notice much of a difference other than the Shambler have more health. The wiki says the infection rate is much higher, near 90%, what the fuck? And Shamblers spawn more, but that's pretty much it. You can choose any of the difficulties, but if you head over to the Extras tab, you can turn on Realism mode, which disables respawns entirely, makes the Shamblers spawn more.
Are you serious, my brother?
And you'll find less of any healing. But to your advantage, this makes every gun in the game one shot in the head, but only in the head, otherwise they are useless. They deal no damage to the body. Practically making the Glock the best weapon in the game. Melee doesn't change though, it's the same. This is my main gripe with this game. Shamblers infinitely respawn. It doesn't matter how many times you clear out a room. Another one will magically spawn from the deepest pits of hell. They spawn so often. There's a modifier where you can turn off the spawning, but like I said, that's practically only for single players because you can't make your own servers to play with friends. I can't find any server that has the spawning off with decent ping. Anyways, enough of that. Even if you don't like any of the maps, fret not. You could always download something else from the workshop. That's right, No More Room in Hell supports modding the same way Left 4 Dead does. You can download just about anything, from new maps, new guns, mutators that put a twist on the gameplay loop. You don't like the background? Change it. New models.
Say my name.
Wait, what the fuck? Point is, the modding community for this game is still alive to this day, and there's bound to be something that you'll like. Like, look at this, man. It's an objective map of Resident Evil 2. That's awesome. Personally, my favorite survivor is Jotaro Gujo and his stand with double-barrel shotgun. Who knows what other wild stuff you can find in the modding community. I love them. I'm having a really hard time thinking how to end this video, because that was everything I wanted to talk about. As for the game, it's finished, and the devs themselves have said that, and I quote, "At this point in time, No More Room in Hell 1 is classified as feature complete. We thank our community for their support and our players for enjoying the game." End quote. There are still updates though, from time to time. As of editing, there's a new update, the Shoreline 1.14 update, featuring a new map made by the community and some bug fixes. So, in a nutshell, game is good. Try it out, it's free on Steam. A little fun fact about this video, I had already recorded a green screen footage of me reading the whole script, but I fucked it up. The lighting and green screen itself was all wonky and it just didn't work. I had to move my bed, laptop, and stack like 3 boxes on top of each other to record that footage. You don't understand, I'm not doing it again. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.